Hi, this is Keely from Retirement Dreams to Reality on Bournemouth Beach. And today, as I am only 6 months from retirement, I am going to talk about all the things that you need to consider as you are getting closer and closer. So, I've put these into 3 categories really. The first one is exactly where is the money going to come from when you immediately retire if you're not getting a state pension or cashing in your pensions, which I'm not. So that's the first category, where exactly is the money going to come from. The second category is exactly what are you going to do in the immediate months when you first retire. So that's something that's quite important to me that I've been considering. And the third thing I'm going to talk about is any worries, concerns, anything that I'm thinking about that might be stressing me a little bit when I think about my retirement. So they're the 3 things I'm going to talk about in this video. And it's bloody hard walking across the sand. So I'm going to try to get to the dry bit. Okay, as it's getting ever closer, one of the first things I really need to consider is exactly where is the money coming from. So I need to nail it down really, because I do have plans, but it's hard, as you'll find when you get closer, to get exact figures from pension companies, from any companies. It's hard to get exact figures in terms of what your money is doing. So, as you'll know if you've seen any of our previous videos, the market has tanked a little bit over the last few weeks, probably over the last month. So in terms of sequence of return risk, it wouldn't be wise to be taking a lot of money out of either any of our investments at the moment. So there are other things to consider as well, such as tax implications. So what time of year is it when you take the money? Where are you taking the money from in terms of how it's being taxed? So that's something else to consider. And also, will you have any other income at all that's being taxed in your retirement? So for me, I'm thinking about a couple of options. I've got a very small work-based pension with the People's Pension that was set up about 7 years ago, that I've only worked part-time to pay into. So it's only about £6,000-7,000, and all along I've thought about cashing that in. That's been part of my plan. But getting an exact figure for that is virtually impossible. But really, regardless of how well it's doing, that is something that I am probably going to cash in. But I don't really want to cash it in when I finish work in December. I think what I'm actually going to do is cash it in the April at the start of the new tax year, because then I'll hardly be earning any income at all next tax year. So I should be able to claim my tax back from the pension very, very quickly, because I do know that they tax your pension at source. So my sister cashed her pension in last year sometime, and they literally took 20% of it straight away. She was then able to claim it back later because of the time of year it was, and that's what I want to do. I want to claim my tax back quite quickly. But I'm finishing in December. So I think what we're going to do is take some money out of our emergency fund just until I cash my very small people's pension in. So that's one thing we're going to do. I will still be working. Seems really weird saying that, but I've got a student that I've got to take till May, June. So I will still be getting a small income of around £300-400 a month, I think. So yeah, I'll still be getting a small income from work. And we've even talked about, and I find it difficult to say this, we've even talked about, will I carry on with a couple more students just till the summer? Because if I'm tied with one student, may I as well be tied with a couple anyway. Please remember, if you're enjoying this video, or even if you're not, please help by liking and subscribing. Like and subscribe. And number 2 is immediately, how am I going to spend my time in retirement? Well, as I've just said, because I'll still be doing one student for 3 hours a week, then I'll have a commitment. And also, Bruce will still be working. So my plan of travel is going to be hampered a little because of those things. That is just stunning. So that's the plan in terms of the things that I'll immediately do when I retire. Travel is a huge part of that. And even though I am going to be quite restricted, it's definitely still something that I want to do. And another thing that I've decided I'm going to do, from December, January, I'm going to apply for loads of quiz shows and game shows and like TV quiz shows and TV activities, because I like change. For me, this huge saying, a change is as good as a rest, is massive. And if I've got all of this time and I can't travel as much as I want to, it would be nice to be able to do other things. So I've thought about things like Deal or No Deal, The Chase. There's one called Limitless, Tenable. I mean, I can't do this, need 5 others. But I'm thinking about applying for quite a few quiz shows, game showy things, just to give me something to do when I'm still tied at home in retirement, because Bruce is still working. So as well as travel and trusted house sitter, that's another thing I'm going to do. So I'm hoping, and then along with all my socialising and visiting, that should be enough for the first few years before Bruce can retire. And also, when Bruce does his moderation, like he is doing now, I will travel with him, like I am doing now, which is why I'm at the beautiful Bournemouth. So that's number 2, the immediate things that I will do in retirement. And that leads me on to number 3. Is there anything that is worrying me? Well, being honest, when I look at sequence of returns and when I look at what's happened in the market recently, and a few things that have been whirling around in my head, as it gets closer, you wouldn't be human if you didn't worry, have you got your figures right? Have you done the sums right? Are you going to be okay? Have you worked out that you've got enough for when you need it? Now, our actual figures for when we both retire it's between £40,000 and £45,000 a year. I think I've mentioned that before. But I only earn I earn less than £14,000 a year because I work very part-time. So until Bruce retires, I only need a very small amount of money. I only need to replace my income, which if you take the tax off, is probably £12,000–13,000 a year. So that's all I need to cover. And I'm pretty sure I've done my sums right and I've got enough to cover that and more. So that's one of the first things that is starting me thinking about. And another thing that it's not worrying me as such, but it's going around in my head, is how different Bruce and I are in terms of routines and travel. And as we are getting closer and closer to retirement, will those differences come out more? Because I'm happy to just go anywhere as long as I'm travelling, as long as I'm experiencing new things, as long as I'm by the sea. I'm just desperate to be by the sea. I'm desperate for sunshine. That's so important to me. Whereas Bruce is quite a homebod. He loves his routine. He loves going to the gym. He loves his own home. And as much as he has said all along he's happy to travel with me, as long as we have these non-negotiables in place, I worry the closer we get to retirement that he'll say he wants to do these things, but deep down, when it comes to it, will he really want to do these things? So that's just a little worry of mine, because as much as I love travel, and I do love travel, and I'm having a great day today on my own in Bournemouth because Bruce is working, it doesn't mean that I don't want to travel with Bruce, because I do. And that's what travel's about, experiencing it with loved ones. So that's just another thing that's worrying me a little bit. So I think that's it. I think that's my, where's the money coming from? Immediately, what will I be doing in retirement? And what's worrying me? That's Keely from Retirement Dreams to Reality. Thank you for taking this walk with me today on Bournemouth Beach. 7 miles of Bournemouth Beach.